Angela Rye and Rudy Giuliani appeared on CNN this morning, obviously talking about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. I'm going to play the clip, and notice Mr. Giuliani tends to like to filibuster a bit, and he also doesn't like to use the actual facts, and even when presented with the actual facts, tends to dispute them. Angela Rye, though, isn't innocent because she tended to misrepresent the current position that Donald Trump has on raising the minimum wage, etc.
Kristen, thank you so much. Let's bring in Rudy Giuliani, former New York City mayor and Donald Trump supporter, and Angela Rye, CNN political commentator and former executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus. Good to have both of you this morning.
Good morning.
So, Mayor Giuliani, I want to start with you and being back on message. We know that earlier in the week you took issue with this term intervention with Donald Trump that you thought was inappropriate, but he seems to be focusing on Hillary Clinton now, even in a scripted way. Would you say he is back on message, and this is the appropriate message, questioning her mental health?
My point about intervention was that's a word we usually use for someone who's a drug addict or an alcoholic, and Donald Trump doesn't drink.
As he stated, a word that you usually use but don't always use. And anybody with a pair of eyes can see that somebody got in there and explained the facts of life to Donald Trump, given his latest speeches. So there was an quote-unquote intervention that set him back on what the Republicans consider to be the proper path.
And he's quite a normal human being. Did he need a refocusing of his campaign? Absolutely. Does that happen all the time in every campaign? Certainly does. George Bush, the first one, began the campaign 17 points behind Michael Dukakis. 17 points behind, and that was in September or late August. So the position he's in right now.
What Mr. Giuliani is calling a refocus, most people would call a complete change in direction, i.e. from attacking quote-unquote fellow Republicans, which he had been doing, to supporting the same Republicans that he claimed he would not endorse. To me, that's a 180. That's a change in direction. That's not refocusing. That is changing.
With the latest poll being behind by only 8%, given the week that he had, I think is actually a good one. Also, the other part that I find optimistic about it is he's doing so well among independents.
But he's doing very poorly among women. 23 points behind Hillary Clinton.
He's going to have to improve that. He has to speak to the issues of education, in which he's in favor of choice in charter schools, and Hillary Clinton is a complete, fully dominated by the teachers union and has no options there. I mean, she's not going to embrace vouchers. She's not going to embrace choice. She's not going to embrace the expansion of charter schools. The things that you're going to need if you want children to be educated better in the next generation than the way the public schools are serving them today. I think safety is a big issue to women. And the fact is, the world is in safety. There's an article in the Times today saying Russia has basically won in Syria. Well, President Obama and Hillary Clinton handed Russia Syria.
All right, let me bring Angela Rye into this conversation. Those issues, do you think those close the gap between Clinton and Trump with women?
Well, with all due respect to Mayor Giuliani, as a woman, I would also say that wages are very important to me in eliminating those wage disparities. That is why I'm grateful that President Obama's first act was signing the Lilly Ledbetter Act into law. I'm anxious to see what else Donald Trump has to say about wage disparities and also the minimum wage. I know that Trump supporters and his surrogates continue to bash the state of the economy, yet and still, as President Trump says that he would not he would not increase the minimum wage. So I think
All right, let me stop Angela there. She knows doggone well that Trump has subsequently come out with an increase in the federal minimum wage and he suggests that the states basically should control their own minimum wage and that they should raise it. He particularly said that obviously New York and Los Angeles or San Francisco have much higher costs of living, so their minimum wages should be higher than places like, let's say, Mississippi, etc. So she's not being completely, she's not being honest when she tries to push that line.
Lies a problem as well. So it's not just safety I'm concerned about, although if we were going to talk about safety and the threat of terrorism to this country, we know this poll also has Hillary Clinton ahead.
Let me ask you, Mr. Mayor, about the economy. We know that the economic advisors have been announced. There will be an economic speech in Detroit coming up early in the week. Earlier in the show, we had Scotty Nell Hughes on, who is a Trump supporter, who said that the way that Trump will win women is by doubling down on what Ivanka Trump said during the convention, when she said that Donald Trump will, quote, focus on making quality child care affordable and accessible for all, and he will fight for equal pay for equal work. And she will fight alongside him. Are there policies coming to support those affirmations?
Sure, absolutely. I think the way he's going to approach it, and the issue is a very good one. First of all, Donald Trump has made it clear that he would consider an increase in the minimum wage. He'd like it to be done state by state, but he'd also consider an increase in the minimum wage from the point of view of the federal government. He also pointed out, as did Ivanka, that he was one of the first to appoint a woman CEO for basically a construction business. He has a disproportionate number of women working for him. He also has made the point that he has a disproportionate number of women working for him at the same wages as men. There is no wage disparity in the Trump
organization. What about on the campaign? But on the Trump organization, what about on the campaign? What about the fact that there's not a single woman named to the economic advisors list, Mayor Giuliani?
Well, I mean, the reality is you have to take the people that are supporting you, the people that have your ideas, the people that agree with you.
I think much better. People agree with you.
Excuse me.
See, and that's where they caught him. See, you have to take the people that agree with you and that you can find. And basically, the argument there is he couldn't find any women that he could have placed on his advisory group that were women. That's a lost argument, and he needed to get out of there as quickly as possible.
I think a much better indication is what he's done over his whole lifetime, which is to appoint women where other people haven't, to give women the same wages as men, to be a leader in the forefront in giving women the ability to take time off when they have children. This is what he's done in the multi-billion-dollar corporation that he runs. So I'm sure that is precisely what he's going to do as president of the United States.
Angela, let me come to you with another number.
I can't buy that because history and his recent history is a better indication of what he would do if he does, in fact, become president of the United States. He didn't pick a single woman, again, on his economic advisory board. And other than his daughter, who is a major key to his campaign, there's not really another woman in a really strong position of authority. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. Katrina Pearson is a national spokesperson for him, but what I'm referring to is as an advisor, policy advisor.
That we learned from this new ABC News Washington Post poll. Still, after the 4 days at the DNC, and there was a significant bump that came out of that convention, Hillary Clinton still sits at 66% of the respondents saying that she is too willing to bend the rules. I mean, that still has to be an uphill battle for her. What is the campaign doing? What should the campaign be doing to overturn those numbers?
All right, and that poll basically is because her dumb ass won't come to Jesus on the emails. If she would just admit, and not even admit, just agree with the FBI director's report and tell the world, obviously, out of 10 10,000 or so emails, one, and it truly is just one, was properly marked classified, and it was marked classified within the body of the email, not in the title of the email, that she missed it. She's human and she missed it. The other two that were marked within their bodies classified were not actually classified documents. But hell, let's say it's three. 3 out of 10,000 is an infinitesimal amount of emails that had some type of classification within them. She could have gotten away with that. She said, I am not perfect. I missed 3 of them. Sue me. I don't know if she could have said it that way. That's the way that I could say it. But then again, I'm not a person running for any kind of office. But she could have put it in such a way as to soften it, to accept the judgment of the FBI director and get it out of here. But she just didn't do it. And I don't know why she won't do that.
Return those numbers.
Well, one of the things that she said recently is that she knows that trust has to be earned, and I think that is exactly the right message. She has to demonstrate over time that she is a better, more qualified, more trustworthy candidate, and the best way for her to do that is to prevent saying things like, I short-circuited. The good thing for her is that she's running up against a candidate who always short circuits, who has said that they would become Trump 2.0, and everyone is waiting for that anxiously to happen. Instead, he's calling her unhinged, and it's laughable because the candidate that you think about when you hear the term unhinged is not Hillary Clinton, it actually is Donald Trump. So she's got to stay on message.
Let's look at this video that was released by the Trump campaign, speaking of that short-circuited moment.
I hope you will compare what I'm proposing to what my opponent is talking about.
I'm telling you right now, we are going to raise taxes on the middle class.
So I may have short-circuited.
Yeah, smoke there apparently coming from her head that's been superimposed. Let me ask you, Mr. Mayor, is it appropriate, as Donald Trump did yesterday, to question the mental health of his opponent?
Now, this is the second time he's asked this question, and Rudy Giuliani is going to give a bullshit answer.
I'm not sure he did that.
Quote,
I mean,
honestly, I don't think she's all there, and pointed at his head.
Well, the reality is that she said she's going to raise taxes on the middle class. And the way I'd approach it is she's finally telling the truth. This is the first time in the campaign that she's told the truth. This is a woman who has been found to be extremely careless in the handling of national security information by the director of the FBI. She could not pass an FBI background check to get a top secret clearance.
Yeah, that's bullshit. He doesn't know that. He's not part of the FBI, and she more than likely would be able to pass an FBI background check.
But let me bring you back to the question, Mr. Mayor. Is it appropriate to question the mental health of one's opponent?
Well, I don't think he was questioning her mental health. He was using a figure of speech. I mean, either she was telling the truth that she is going to raise the minimum wage, or she had some kind of she made some kind of a mistake. And using the term short circuit would certainly suggest kidding around a little bit about the fact that maybe she's not completely focused. So I don't think he questioned her mental health. I think that's what you do in the media. You take some of these things that tend to be somewhat humorous, maybe somewhat sarcastic, and you drive it into this. He certainly didn't question her mental health. He said that she seemed a little unhinged. And in fact, in a campaign, to say that you're going to raise taxes on the middle class is kind of unhinged. Well, that is not what you meant.
I'll say the transcript that was released after that said that she said aren't, but of course we all heard what the recording is there. Angela, I'll give it to you if you want to respond, and we got to go to break.
Just quickly, I would just say the short circuit comment was actually about the emails. It wasn't about the middle class. That's what they mashed up for that particular ad. So that isn't exactly on point either. But for someone who just lied about seeing a video of cash being dropped into Iran, I think he should probably watch it with the short circuit language.
All right, Angela Rye, Rudy Giuliani.
All right, so that's basically the interview itself. Rudy Giuliani, let me say this, he in this particular interview didn't get as crazy as he normally does, which that was a welcome breath of fresh air. And Angela Rye was fairly decent. She wasn't as forceful as she normally is either. I don't know if it's because they're on CNN or not.